Welcome back to Cognitive Curves. Let me ask you something. How many decisions do you think you've already made today? Was it coffee or tea? Should you send that email now or later? Or maybe you're still debating whether to binge watch that new series tonight. Here's the wild part. Research suggests we make about 35,000 decisions every single day. And guess what? Most of them aren't as rational as we'd like to think. From sneaky mental shortcuts to biases that trick us. Today, we're diving deep into the psychology of decision making, the hidden forces that shape every choice we make. Let's start with something we all feel but might not notice: decision fatigue. Ever notice how grocery stores strategically place candy bars at the checkout? By the time you're there, your brain is so fried from deciding between almond milk or oat milk that saying yes to a chocolate bar feels like a relief. This isn't random. Research by Baumeister and Tierney, 2011, shows that every choice we make drains a little of our mental energy. And when our energy is depleted, we're more likely to default to impulsive or irrational decisions. Think about Steve Jobs or Mark Zuckerberg. They famously wore the same outfit every day. It wasn't about style, it was about conserving mental energy for bigger decisions. So, next time you feel overwhelmed by choices, try simplifying. Maybe plan your meals in advance or pick a uniform for work days. All right, here's a fun one: the anchoring bias. Have you ever gone shopping for a couch, seen one priced at $5,000 and thought, wow, that's insane? But then you see another one for $2,000 and it suddenly feels like a bargain? That's not your wallet talking. It's your brain falling for a psychological anchor. Tversky and Kahneman, 1974, the godfathers of decision psychology, discovered that our judgments are heavily influenced by the first piece of information we're exposed to, even if it's irrelevant. Retailers use this all the time with original price tags next to discounts. It makes the sale price look irresistible. Before you jump at a deal, ask yourself, am I comparing this price to what I think it's worth, or just to the anchor they've set? Trust me, your bank account will thank you. Let's talk about something we all feel deep down: our hatred for losing. Ever held on to a bad investment because selling it meant accepting the loss? Or kept wearing those uncomfortable shoes because, hey, you spent money on them? That's loss aversion, and it's one of the most powerful biases we have. Daniel Kahneman and Amos Tversky, again, found that the pain of losing is psychologically twice as intense as the pleasure of gaining. Casinos exploit this beautifully. They give you free chips to play with, but as soon as you win, you see it as your money, making it harder to walk away. I once had a client who couldn't let go of a job they hated because they'd invested years in the role. The loss felt too big, even though staying meant daily misery. If this resonates, try reframing the situation. Instead of focusing on what you'll lose, think about what you'll gain by moving on. All right, here's a question. Would you rather buy a product that's 95% fat-free or one that's 5% fat? Same thing, right? But the framing changes how we perceive it. Marketers, politicians, and even doctors use this trick to influence our choices. A famous study by Levin et al., 1998, showed that people were more likely to approve a surgery with a 90% survival rate than one with a 10% mortality rate, even though they're the same stat. Framing plays on our cognitive shortcuts and emotional triggers. Next time someone pitches you an idea or product, ask yourself, is this just a different way of framing the same information? Taking a step back can help you make more rational decisions. Have you ever trusted someone just because they're charismatic, even if they're terrible at their job? That's the halo effect at work. We let one positive trait, like attractiveness or confidence, color our judgment about everything else. Think about celebrity endorsements. Does buying a perfume really make you as glamorous as the star advertising it? Of course not. But the halo effect convinces us that if we like one aspect of a person, we'll like the product they're promoting. When making decisions, separate the halo from the facts. Ask yourself, do I trust this person or product based on merit, or am I blinded by one appealing trait? Let's talk about fear, Why do we overestimate the likelihood of dramatic events, like plane crashes or shark attacks, when they're statistically rare? It's the availability heuristic. Our brains prioritize information that's vivid or recent, even if it's not the most accurate. Tversky and Kahneman, yes, them again, showed that people judge the frequency of events based on how easily examples come to mind. If you've seen 5 crime shows this week, you're probably convinced the world's a dangerous place. When assessing risks, pause and ask, is this fear based on facts or just what I've been exposed to lately? A little perspective can go a long way. Have you ever finished a terrible movie just because you'd already spent 2 hours watching it? That's the sunk cost fallacy, the irrational tendency to continue investing in something just because you've already invested in it. I had a client who stayed in a toxic relationship because they'd already spent so much time trying to make it work. But here's the truth. Your past investment shouldn't dictate your future decisions. You're not obligated to keep losing. When you catch yourself thinking, I've already put too much into this, ask instead, what's the best decision for me now? Letting go is freeing. So, what's the takeaway from all of this? Decision making isn't always as rational as we like to think. Our brains are wired with shortcuts, biases, and tricks that shape every choice we make, from what we buy to how we live. But here's the good news. Awareness is power. By understanding these psychological quirks, you can take back control and make decisions that truly serve you. Which bias or trick resonated most with you today? Let us know in the comments, and don't forget to subscribe to Cognitive Curves for more insights into the fascinating world of psychology. Until next time, stay curious, stay self-aware, and keep making those 35,000 decisions count.